Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matthew here. I'm doing a Let's Play of a map that I did, a custom map that I did using the Far Cry 5 map editor. Um, it's inspired by H.P. Lovecraft. On the loadouts, you can see I put Can You Escape Lovecraft's Mountains of Madness. So, if you don't know anything about Lovecraftian horror, it's primarily about fear of the unknown, cosmic horror, things that would drive a man insane even to see them. So, the premise of the map is you've crash landed. There's a parachute over there. You've crash landed, and a couple of your men that you were with got killed during the crash, or froze to death, one or the other. And the lab has been attacked by something you don't know. You don't know what's attacked the lab, but soon we might find out. So you can't really stay here because there's nothing that you have here to survive since the lab has been destroyed. And now that we got that out of the way, let's proceed with the rest of the map. So over here you can actually see the mountain range of the Mountains of Madness, as well as the valley that descends down between the canyon here or whatever. So I'm gonna go ahead and or between the mountain ranges. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep following these posts along this trail to see if I can find a different outpost of some kind. And it's going to be kind of a treacherous journey. Like I said, I made the map, so I know everything that happens in it. A fair few people have played it. I have two versions of the map. One of them's broken. So version 1, this is version 1. It's probably the only one worth actually trying. There could still be a video glitch. If that happens, I'll have to stop the recording and do this over using a using my actual editor, because I know the video glitches don't happen in the editor. It just everything takes a lot longer to load. So alrighty, so we've come to the end of this cliff face here, and no other choice but to travel across this zip line. So again, this is a horror map, so there's going to be a few like horror elements, but nothing too major. This is really just kind of a stepping off point for me into doing like more probably major like horror let's plays. Like I said, at the very least, every other like let's play I do is probably going to be kind of hinging on horror. But okay, so we come up here to the end of this pathway, and as you can see, we can't really proceed any further using using this path, but we can go down here if we are careful. All right. Ooh, it's a close call. It's easy to slip, so it's kind of a steep fall, so you want to be careful. Now I know right now there's a movie in development that's starring Nicolas Cage called A Color Out of Space, which is a book by H.P. Lovecraft. So I'm looking forward to that, especially with all the caginess, and you know, he seems like he could pull off crazy. So down here we've got something down here in the valley, some trees and something glowing down there. It's hard to say exactly what it is, but it doesn't sound like something I really want to mess with, so. Seems to be getting pretty foggy down here. Gonna have to mind myself. And from the mist, we see the entrance to some sort of a mine shaft. But looking down, we can see something's buried. And some sort of a prism. A pyramid-shaped structure is buried halfway underground, so we don't know what these are, but I guess we'll see in good time. So the only path it seems I can take is the path to the right. A lot of skeletons. And it would appear whoever was a part of this outpost uncovered some sort of a portal. It's not every day you see floating stones, so... I hear something. Like I said, since I already have played the map, I kind of already know how these things kind of go down, so... It's meant to be more of a jump scare. So spoiler alert if you actually intend to play this on the Far Cry map editor yourself. But if you didn't hear earlier, there was kind of a rumble of stones crashing, so I'm gonna go check that out. And it seems a pathway has been opened for us on the left, so pressing forward through this path, we have the end of the mine. And some sort of a scarecrow of some kind. And that part of the mine's blocked off, apparently, so... I don't really want to push forward into the woods too much. Here's that tower we saw from before. Oh, and it would appear that we are not alone here, so... I'm gonna go ahead and hide in this building. Based on the skeletons I'm seeing, I can tell that something bad happened here. And it would appear a massive effigy has been placed in the center of this outpost, so it's definitely not a very good sign. Oh, and we're being attacked by something. I'm just gonna go ahead and get out of here. Hopefully he doesn't manage to do that. Whatever it is, it's much too large for me to take on now with just a wooden stick, so I'm gonna go ahead and push forward. It's best to just move on. It's hard to say where it's gone. Perhaps it's buried itself. Yeah, so if you play this yourself, there's a lot more to explore in that little town. There's that large creature you're going to have to avoid, but... I'm just going to go ahead and move pretty quickly up this path. Yeah, the map is quite long, and there's not really a large threat to you in the beginning stages of the map. It's a lot more just climbing and traversing these terrains. The harsh terrains of the Antarctic. Since I was pretty young, I've always been a fan of H.P. Lovecraft. He's got some good stuff there, so... And here we see maybe a couple who've died from the elements or Maybe a loved one being given to one of the old ones. If you're into Lovecraft horror, you probably know what I'm talking about, but essentially in the book series there's what's known as like the old gods is what they're referred to. And if you've heard the term Cthulhu or Azathoth or Dagon, they're all considered old gods, which are basically I mean, really the only way they can be described as is just gods. I don't know. There's a lot of really good like Lovecraftian horror. If you've ever, if you're interested in like a short film that's free on Vimeo, you can probably watch AM 1200. That pretty much encapsulates what Lovecraftian horror is all about. AM 1200, I believe, is what it's called, and it's a pretty short watch. Pretty scary stuff, in my opinion. Everybody's scared by different things. I think that's one of the great things about horror too. It's like different things scare different people. So for me, it's like I'm scared of like ghosts or home invaders or things of that nature. Whereas like for other people, it could be ghouls or zombies or blood or gore, you know. So this guy seems to have had kind of a rough time. So I better stay on my toes and pull out my weapon. Okay, something's going on in here. This guy doesn't look too friendly, so I'm gonna go ahead and take him out. And just by scouting out this area a little bit, we can tell we probably made the right decision and taken him down, because yeah, he doesn't look like he's been up to very much good in here. So, the idea being that something drove him mad, you know, at this outpost. It's hard to say what, but that's another large element of like Lovecraftian horror, like dealing with sanity, going insane. So it doesn't really seem like there's a lot more else to see here at this outpost, so I'm just going to go ahead and backtrack a little bit. And it seems that we'd walked by a rather massive cave structure here, so nothing else to do but go inside. And now we make our descent. Now this gentleman here seems like he had a kind of a nasty spill. Kind of a tight little space here. Opening up into a larger cave. And leading us back out into the valley. It seems that we've come out the other side of the valley here, so that's always good. Peeking through here, we can see some sort of a tent has been set up. Hopefully we can get to that. So and perhaps find out who's been setting up all those posts that we've been blessed with as we are following the path. Alright, so down the valley we go. We're redescending down into the mist here, so and we seem to have come into some sort of a marsh. Appears to be some sort of a massive structure built into the side of the mountain here, so seems we found the carcass of a mammoth. Given that they're supposed to have gone extinct, it makes you wonder what other prehistoric types of creatures might still lie dormant. I added this as like a little bit of a rock climbing section in the map, so we've come to that tent that we saw before. And we see who's been laying them. Didn't seem like he made it either, so doesn't look like he'll be much help to us anymore, so oh geez, kind of a sketchy part of the map, so I'm in no way a game developer, but just as a forewarning to anybody who thinks that this map is actually going to be any worth much to you. So it might be just worth it just to watch what I'm doing, but like I said, if you're into this kind of thing, it might be, you know, worth it for you to just download it on PlayStation. Like I said, the map's just called, if you just type in Mountains of Madness, or if you type in my gamer tag, which is IR Prospect, you'll probably find it pretty easily. Like I said, I recommend playing version 1 of the map, so you could experience all of this for yourself. Oh, kind of a steep face here. Kind of a rough way to swing across, but gets the job done, I guess, so. Keep in mind, if you decide that you're going to play this map on your own, if you die at any point, you're going to have to restart the entire map over, which is kind of a downside of playing this on the Far Cry 5 map editor. I don't know if there's respawns so, or checkpoints that can be implemented, so. And this map has none of those, so. Well, we've come very far. Come very far in the map. And we've come to what appears to be some sort of a military base and a runway, so. Helicopter landing pad, but no helicopter to be found. Destroyed outposts, so. Who knows, maybe we'll find some help inside. And in here, seems we found some munitions. Doesn't hurt to go ahead and kind of start armoring up, so. Kind of an eerie sound coming from that radio there, so. Making sure all my weapons are reloaded here. And we're full up on medkits, so. Looks like the military had been building down into the core of this mountain. It's hard to say what they were looking for, so all we can do is investigate. Well, the military didn't seem like it had a very good time. It looks like the military was struggling to defend against something that burst through this rock face they were digging into, so. Now at this point in the map, this is one of the minor visual glitches that is occurring. This is supposed to be all fog. There's not supposed to be... You're not supposed to be able to see this gentleman lying here on the ground until you get pretty close to him. Which kind of ruins some aspects of the map. But for purposes of showing this off, I'm not too concerned. Now, the military was struggling to defend against something, and it seems like they found a little bit more than they'd bargained for. We come to some sort of a tribe. No one living really to be seen, but yeah, so based on the my investigation skills, or the impression that I was trying to give off by this area of the map, is that this tribe, as well as the military, maybe long ago were trying to defend against something that broke past their borders, so and then we come to it, the true Mountains of Madness. It appears like whatever they were trying to defend us against was too strong and seems to have broken through, so or I'll travel up the side of this rock face here and well, there doesn't seem to be any real way across, so I'm going to continue following these wooden stokes that have been built up out of the ground and enter a second cave, so and from that cave we've come out on the other side, directly in front of the mountain, so we've got scorched trees. And I guess out of sheer curiosity, the player character chooses to press forward. Got some hostile enemy types up here, so trying to clear out this area of enemies before I decide to proceed any further, so... And we enter some sort of a city. With advanced technologies, Aurora, so at this point we're kind of nearing the end of the map, so if you don't want to know what happens, then, and it's not really a lot to, not really a lot to show off here, but enough that someone I think might want to play this on their own still. So far, so good. And that's the map. Hey, so everybody who likes what they saw.
You are victorious.
Oh, I think that's Alexa. Alexa, stop. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. It's I made the map relatively quickly. Probably took me a couple weeks, you know, putting in time here and there. So I mean, that's just kind of a start to just a kind of a way of me kicking off a lot of the horror games that I'm going to be playing. I just figured I would just do something that I did myself just to begin with, and then continue on from there. So anybody who liked it, thank you so much. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.